Hello everybody, it's Sean O'Connell, Managing Director here at CinemaBlend, and I am continuing my run through all of the episodes of Game of Thrones before we get to the launch of Season 8, and truthfully, you monsters, I have no clue how you expect me to continue after the reveal of Hodor. I mean, I've said in the past that this show can be really difficult to watch, but that is playing with a person's emotions in ways that shouldn't be allowed. It just shouldn't be allowed. That was heart-wrenching. For a character who, is, down the chain of command, relatively. And yet it was a beautiful, beautiful moment that was played out so well. And I'm emotionally invested in him on the binge. I can't imagine people who were with the show from the very beginning, and it took years and years to build up to the reveal of Hodor. So that was tremendous. And the season rolls on. So we are up to Season 6, Episode 6. It's called Blood of My Blood. We're going to dive right into it. And while I'm pressing play, go down, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and every time a new video posts, you guys will be alerted to it. But for now, Blood of My Blood. Episode 6 of Season 6, meaning we are officially in the back half of the next to last season. You gotta pull out of the ward, Bran. You're gonna stay there too long.
Burn them all!
Oh, you're going back. You're going back to the Targaryens, even. He's like doing a binge in his head. Oh, Lord, they know where he is.
They found us.
Oh, Lord.
I'm so sorry.
Winter is here. Who's this dude?
My father doesn't like wildlings. He hoped I'd make a man of myself by killing some bloody wildling, so it's probably a good subject to avoid, if at all possible.
Have you spoken to him at all, the High Sparrow? He's not quite what we thought he was, is he? I've had lots of time to think about how good I was at seeming good.
What about Loras?
Is she playing a game here? She's playing a game, right?
I love my brother. I will always love my brother.
She's not brainwashed.
The gods have a plan for us all.
You have a plan for us all, Marjorie. Look at you! Oh,
It's hard to walk in this.
Gilly!
It's beautiful.
Not fat enough already.
See now? Come on. Your son killed a White Walker.
The Night's Watch came to our keep.
Where?
Gilly?
North of the wall.
North of the wall. You're a wildling. See that sword? It's called Heartsbane. Been in our family for 500 years. It's Valyrian steel.
Ooh, take it.
Only a handful of them left in the world. Supposed to go to my firstborn son after I die. He will never wield that sword. This you getting back at me, boy?
Ugh. Fathers on this show can be horrific.
Bringing that to my table and making me dine with it. I'll take the wildling in. You can work in the kitchens. The bastard will be raised here. And this will be the last night you ever spend at Hornhill.
You're not what he thinks you are, Sam. He doesn't know what you are.
Goodbye, Gilly.
Sam?
We're leaving.
What?
Yeah.
Get your things.
Where you go, I go.
I don't have any things. What are you doing?
We belong together. All of us.
That's your father's sword.
Oh,
It's my family sword.
Sam, won't he come for it?
He can bloody well try.
And it was he that poisoned me. My evil Uncle Imp.
Oh, darkest day, my heart is full of sorrow.
I don't know if I want Arya to do this. This is the end of Arya, as we know her.
I saw you the other day in the audience. I remember when the players came to my village.
Do you like pretending to be other people?
I have to go. My father's waiting for me.
Careful of that one. She wants you dead.
Arya, you just screwed up all of your... She failed again.
Shame. The girl had many gifts. Don't let her suffer.
Marjorie of House Tyrell came to us a sinner.
Lord Tyrell. Sir Jaime.
Sorry to interrupt. We're here for Queen Marjorie and Sir Loras Tyrell. Every last sparrow will die before Marjorie Tyrell walks down that street.
To die in the service of the gods would please each and every one of us. We yearn for it.
But there is no call for it today.
There will be no walk of atonement.
Look at this badass.
Queen Marjorie has already atoned for her sins by bringing another into the true light of the Seven. We announce a new age of harmony, a holy alliance between the crown and the faith.
Oh boy.
When you attack the faith, you attack the crown. Anyone who attacks the crown is unfit to serve as Lord Commander of the Kingsguard.
I've been a member of the Kingsguard since before you were born.
You have served your house and your king faithfully for many years. And you will continue to do so, but not in this city.
Lost it.
Walder Frey!
Yes, Father.
It's a castle. Not a bloody sheep. You let the Blackfish take it from you.
He surprised us. He knows the castle better than anyone.
You did lose the Blackfish after the Red Wedding. You had him right here in this hall, and you let him leave. And when I told you to hunt him down and kill him, you couldn't find him. That's what it means to lose something. Now he's come back and taken River Run. They're laughing at us. All across the Riverlands, right down to King's Landing. They're laughing at us. I hear it in my sleep. I'm not dead yet, unfortunately, for you. And I'll not leave this world until they all choke on that laughter. Take that castle back.
Oh, this poor son of a bitch.
Cheer up, Lord Edmure. You're going home?
I'm being sent to deal with the Blackfish. Apparently Walder Frey can't manage it on his own because he's 400 years old. Sent me with an army to the Riverlands and a siege that could last months.
Better you're elsewhere, at the head of an army, than in the Scepter dungeons.
I'm not going to the Riverlands.
What then?
I'm going to give Bronn the largest bag of gold anyone has ever seen. And have him gather the best killers he knows. I'll take them to the Sept, and I'll remove the High Sparrow's head and every other sparrow head I can find.
You can't.
He has our son! He stole our son! He's torn our family apart. How should we treat people who tear us apart?
We should treat them without mercy, and we will. But if you kill the High Sparrow, you won't leave the Sept alive, and without you, this is all for nothing. Stand at the head of our army where you belong. My father wanted you. Show our men where their loyalties belong. Show them what Lannisters are, what we do to our enemies. And take that stupid little castle back because it's ours and because you can.
You'll stand trial soon. I need to be here for you.
It will be a trial by combat. I have the mountain. They've made us both stronger. All of them. They've no idea how strong we are. No idea what we're going to do to them.
Yes, make out. Incest Reunion Tour Season 6, baby!
Uncle Benji.
What?
The children found me to stop the walkers' magic from taking hold. How? The same way they made the walkers in the first place. You saw it yourself.
Dragon glass. A shard of dragon glass plunged into your heart.
You are the three-eyed raven, no?
I didn't have time to learn. I can't control anything.
You must learn to control it before the Night King comes.
So we ride from Marine, and after that, we sail for Westeros. And what then?
I take what is mine.
You weren't made to sit on a chair in a palace.
What was I made for?
You're a conqueror, Daenerys Stormborn.
You know, Yoren Greyjoy
Wait,
is going to have 1,000 ships. Yeah. She going to show up on a dragon and wow all of them. That's dope. Season 6 is all kinds of great. Being a badass. Now there you go. There. Okay. Now Dany is Dany. Everyone yelled at me because I didn't like Daenerys' subplot. It's not that I don't like Daenerys, I just don't like how the show used her, or didn't use her, to be more specific. And you can argue all you want with me, but it's not going to change my opinion that for multiple seasons, the story didn't know what to do with her. And they gave her a subplot that just wasn't as interesting. She can be an important character, and she finally becomes one once again in this episode. Season 6, episode 6, and Dany is finally Dany. She's now a force to be reckoned with. If the entire show primarily is about who's on the throne and who's trying to take over the throne, Dany wasn't trying to take over the throne for numerous seasons. She was doing her own thing throughout Slaver's Bay. And you could find that subplot interesting, but I never did. And I didn't really get caught up in the characters that surrounded her on that mission, including Jorah. I didn't get caught up in the Second Sons and the Unsullied. I've always liked the Dothraki. The Dothraki are interesting characters because they're brutal savages and just vicious fighters. And if you introduce them to the battle in Westeros, that's an interesting, dramatic dynamic. And of course, Dany had dragons. But Dany's dragons got sidelined by her, chained up and put away. So people in the comments would give me the hardest time saying that my Dany hate was too rough. But it was justified. The show undercut her completely. She's a victim of the show. Has nothing to do with the actress or the character. She was poorly written. And now she's not. And some people have said they described that the books had to develop Dany at a different pace than the show had to, or the show had to put her on a shelf for a bit so that she can catch up to where she's supposed to be for the end game. And I get that. If that's what had to happen, then that's what had to happen. But it's not a crime to say that that's a fault of the show. Like, the show mishandled her for a while. And they have plenty of time to make up for it. They have the rest of this season, of which this season Dany's been fantastic. Like, rising up against the Dothraki and reclaiming her position of complete, total dominance, which she was destined to do. When she finished up with the Dothraki at the end of season 1, she was positioned to be a complete and total force to be reckoned with. And then she just jogged in place for seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a fact. It's a fact. Don't get mad at me because they mishandled Dany. Anyway, is Uncle Benjen, is Benjen the guy, did we see him in the very first scene of the show? I need to go back. I'll go back and research. But I know in the very first scene of the show, there's people in the woods who encounter White Walkers, and believe me, I do not remember what happened then, because I've absorbed so much since then. But I wonder if Benjen is the person who did that. It turns out that he maybe survived that attack and has dragon glass in his heart, which is a way to sort of stave off the effect of the White Walkers. when they touch you. Tommen has converted over, and he now answers to the gods and essentially answers to the High Sparrow. And the High Sparrow seems to have played the game from internally. He's building up through the path and is succeeding, even to the point where my girl, Lady Olenna, is admitting that the High Sparrow is besting them. But Jaime and Cersei are not going to give up just yet. Those two are going to bang and then get their revenge on the High Sparrow. So, more power to them. Amen. Good on you, you incest-loving siblings. Bran, learning more, crash course in how to be the Three-Eyed Raven. He's going to be a significant character in the battle against the White Walkers. Turns out sounds like we're going to bring him back to the Wall, so he can be there when the Night King starts to make his move on the south. So I'm fascinated in that. We spent a lot of time with Gilly and Sam. Sam brings Gilly back home, basically sets her up and says, look, you're going to be rejected by my family, by my father specifically. And sure enough, she's rejected by the father. So Sam takes off, but not before he grabs a sword that's made out of Valyrian steel. And I know that's going to be important later, right? Because we've seen that Valyrian steel swords are very effective against White Walkers. So that was pretty interesting. I can't tell if Marjorie is participating in the High Sparrow for real, or if she is. I think she's conning him. I think she's playing a longer game and doesn't necessarily believe in it. Let's get to another character who is frustrating me to no end, and that's Arya. So Arya is given another chance to detach herself completely from somebody, to be a no one. A girl has no name, right? She's ordered to kill this actress. She doesn't do it. She's recognized by the girl who's always fighting with her and training her. And she reports back to Jaqen and says, nope, she didn't do it. Yet again, she failed to do the thing. So if Arya is not going to embrace the lifestyle, then what are we doing with that subplot? What is happening with that subplot? Now, if answers are coming, great. But you spent a season and a half setting her up through this rigorous training regime and through the mysteries of who are the faceless men and what is their purpose and how is their training, and a lot of unanswered questions, only to have Arya reject it after a season and a half. When Thrones builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and then reverses course, which is done not a lot, but a couple of times, that can be frustrating. So one of the better scenes in the season so far is Arya watching these reenactments of events that we've seen in the past, and this was Joffrey's death. And it's interesting that the people watching the show blame Tyrion for the death of Joffrey, and Tyrion is made out to be the villain. So I find that to be pretty interesting. We see major movement for Bran, who is officially the Three-Eyed Raven, whether he's had enough training or not. And then finally, a majestic speech by Dany, claiming, I'm heading to Westeros now, and delivers a speech from the back of a dragon. And great. Finally, do something with Dany. I want the show to do something with Dany. And really, it's not a mistake that when she asks how many ships she needs to transport her army, which, again, let's run through this. Her army consists of the Dothraki, the Unsullied, and the Second Sons. And she's told that she needs 1,000 ships. And we just met a character who's having 1,000 ships built for him and plans to sail over and meet Dany. Now, are those two going to come together and potentially sail to Westeros together? Possibly. Dany doesn't feel like somebody who necessarily wants to forge an alliance right now with a stranger she's never met before, but having the Greyjoys on her side could be beneficial. So we'll see how that plays out. So that is episode 6 of season 6, Blood of My Blood. We'll be back for episode 7, which will be coming up shortly. Make sure you don't miss it by going down, hitting subscribe, turning on your notifications, and then paying attention to everything that we do here at CinemaBlend.